So can you just plug and play a 27.5 plus wheel set into a 29er? Well, I thought so. I got a pretty cheap 27.5 plus wheel set off of Amazon, and I got some disc rotors for it. Tried putting on my 29er. Clearance on the front was good, but I ended up having to take my front derailleur off just for clearance. And after all was said and done, I was riding it around. I got a little bit of wheel flex, and the tire was still rubbing my derailleur cable. Just the way that derailleur cables are routed. So I ended up, I switched to a 1x setup with a narrow wide, and I got an XT group set online on Craigslist for like $25. So I ended up having to kind of put the cable in some housing and tape it to my chainstay to get it out of the way of the tire. So the clearance is really slim, but it's there, and I no longer have the rubbing on the cable. So there's the XT shifter. I just went with the front. It is 1x10, but it was a lot better than my 1x8 that I had going on, because it originally was a 3x8, but with the 30-tooth narrow wide up front, I'm good. Clearance up front was great. Clearance in the back is tight, just kind of showing some of those angles. I'm kind of Frankensteining this bike. I put a dropper post on there. Dropper post, 1x10. The thing that I love about this XT derailleur is the clutch. So like with a regular derailleur, when you move it or when you're on the trail, your chain bounces around like crazy and you have the possibility of losing your chain. But with this clutch, it barely moves at all. It keeps the tension super tight. So with the clutch and the narrow wide chain ring, I think it holds up pretty darn well. I don't need any retention systems. My fork and my brakes are the things that I haven't upgraded yet. Brakes are mechanical. I had to chip off the shifters on them because they were kind of a one-piece mechanism. And the fork, I don't really get much movement out of. I might get an inch of play out of it. So as far as the 27.5 wheel set goes, man, on sandy turns, sandy conditions, really rocky and loose terrain, I feel like I can push it a lot more. I feel like I get a lot more grip. And yes, I'm still learning. I'm still kind of a beginner, but I think being a beginner and kind of a novice at this mountain biking thing, when hitting this really tough, loose terrain, it just inspires a lot of confidence. And I feel like for any beginner or for anyone that I take on the trail, I probably would put them on a plus bike. And with this hardtail, when you're hitting drops, with the lower tire pressures, I'm running about 15 and 16 psi in the tires. Without getting much suspension out of the front, I feel like hitting those drops, or even just the small bump compliance, I'm getting a lot out of it. So
I've never done that before.
It's comfortable. I think though, after riding this, if I were to get a new bike, or when I do get a new bike, full suspension, I probably will just go with a regular 27.5 wheel with a 2.5 inch wide trail tire, maybe a 2.4 in the back. I think that would do the job just as much if you get a pretty wide wheel set, the actual inside width of the wheel where the tire goes, if that's wide and then you have a 2.5 wide tire, I think that would be enough. But then again, that's after riding this 27.5 wheel set on a hardtail. So I think this is a pretty good setup once I get the fork and the brakes upgraded. And I'll probably Frankenstein it even more or paint the bike, I don't know. But overall, the plus size wheels, I think they're here to stay, but I think they're mainly for beginners. So thanks for watching.